So, good morning.
Morning.
My name is Mohit. I am from class 8, Karmangat branch. Sir, I have a question to ask you, sir. We feel very nice and good when we are appreciated in front of teachers and our friends. But we feel very bad when the teacher scold us in front of our friends and students. But we feel very bad on it and we feel very low. How can we do that? Means how can we come from that mindset?
So you want appreciations or scoldings?
Appreciation.
Yes, asked a nice question. Na? We should all appreciate him, isn't it? Let's appreciate him for the very first question. Such a nice question early in the morning. Okay. Let me tell you, Mohit. Let me tell every slater and every parent. It is very common for human being to expect appreciations. When we do something good, we expect people to appreciate us. You know, there are four hormones in human body secretes four hormones called as happy hormones: serotonin, dopamine, endomorphin endorphin, uh, oxytocin. In this dopamine hormone gets secreted when somebody appreciates you. You might have seen an artist performing on the stage. At the end of the performance, the artist expects the audience to appreciate his or her performance. They ask for claps. Come on, claps. If you clap, the artist will get encouragement. They'll perform in a better way. The comparer asks there, pleads with the audience. As I told, we are all humans, and this hormone gets secreted when there is appreciation. So, it is very common for children to expect appreciation from teachers, parents, friends, relatives. Okay. Here, one should understand the difference between flattery and appreciation. What is flattery? Is flattery good? Flattery is bad. What is flattery? Somebody doesn't deserve that appreciation, but still you are appreciating. It is fake appreciation. You are duping, you are fooling the person. Generally, people resort to flattery to please somebody who is in position, to please the boss. Wow, what an appearance, sir! What a dress, sir! What a smile, sir! I mean, if something deserves appreciation, that should be appreciated. I mean, there is no doubt about with regard to that. But just to please somebody, if someone resorts to repeated appreciation, which is dupe, which is false, which is fake, that is called flattery. Everybody should be aware of this flattery. You should keep such like people at a distance. Remember, they are trying to dupe you. They are not real people. Their appreciation is not real. But when you deserve appreciation, if somebody is really appreciating from the bottom of their heart, you should accept it. Not only accepting, but also when required, you should appreciate others. Now, slaters, tell me, how many times you have appreciated your mother for the excellent dishes, with the tasty dishes that she prepares? Have you ever appreciated? Appreciated? Good. Generally, homemakers, what we call as housewives, they don't get appreciation. If a particular dish is not good, then some person in the family, hey, what is this? A kutta bhi nahi khayega. Kya kar rahi tu? Kind of, ఇది గాడి ఇది కుక్కలు కూడా తిందు అని తిడతారు. But when a nice dish is prepared, Hey, how nice it is, how tasty it is. Nobody appreciates. I mean, it happens in some families, but in general, this doesn't happen. That is the reason why this homemaker, oblique housewife job is seen as a thankless job. You put your heart, you made a nice dish. Nobody in your home, nobody in your house appreciates that. You get used to that, you lose interest in what you are doing, and you start cooking, you start preparing dishes mechanically. Any job, when somebody has come out with something outstanding, something good, one should learn to appreciate that. So if somebody is appreciating you from the bottom of the heart, accept it, thank for that, those appreciations. You also appreciate others. Every student craves for the appreciation of teacher. Every teacher should appreciate the child whenever required. Yes, at times the student might not have performed as per his or her expectations, as per the teacher's expectations. Well done. But Mohit, you could have done it slightly better. That way, you encourage feeding children's mind with positive thoughts is a must. Both teachers as well as parents should understand this. Finding fault with children time and again, criticizing them, sends negative vibes into their brain. It is called a neuro-linguistic program. Hey, you are fit for nothing. You are dull. You are a waste person. If you keep repeatedly telling this, these messages get ingrained in the brain of the child. After a while, they accept, I am dull, I cannot compete with others, I am fit for nothing. They accept it. That's what our elders have said in Telugu. మంచి మాటలు మాట్లాడు, పైన తదాస్తు దేవతలు ఉంటారు. If you whatever you speak, those gods say yes, it's going to happen. Amen. So speak something good, appreciate others. But if you keep appreciating the people all time and again, if somebody has committed a mistake, it is the duty of elders, teachers as well as parents to correct that, right or wrong? So that should be pointed out. You should always be ready for constructive criticism. This mistake you have done, good, overall is good, but you have done, you committed this mistake. Next time, don't do this. This kind of suggestion, this kind of comment should be given to children. Because we are elders, that is parents, teachers, do this keeping the child's improvement in mind. Okay, so children should be ready to accept such like suggestions. Scolding is an extreme form. Scolding doesn't really bring change in any. They feel, they feel negative. It brings pain in the hearts of the person who is getting these scoldings, who is being reprimanded. So they go to a denial mode. Their mind is not ready to accept the points that you are telling, your criticism. So many a times scolding serves the negative purpose. I mean, instead of reforming, instead of changing the child becomes more stubborn. So this should not happen. Okay, but at the same time, children, having said this to elders, that is teachers and parents, what I would like to tell you is, chalo, your teacher or parent or a relative or your elder brother or sister has scolded you. Understand their intention. They want your good. They want your progress. Maybe in short time, in a fit of rage, when they were not in good mood, when you repeatedly went on committing mistake, They don't want you to use smartphone. In spite of telling that so many times, if you are seen using that, yes, they're also human beings. They may feel angry, and they may resort to such like things. So you should understand their intention. They're elders. They have got much more knowledge, much more experience than you. Whatever they are doing is meant for your good. So no need to feel very bad when your parents are reprimanding you. Remember, understand one thing. Your mother or father started scolding you for, say, not getting marks, for not paying enough attention to the class, for whatever it is. Accept that. Assure that, yes, I accept my mistake. Next time I will not repeat this. Then they will feel happy. If you don't do that, if you are not ready to accept your mistake, who is the loser? Your parent or you? Yourself. So understand this point. Today your parents are there around you. Tomorrow, in the sense, no, when you grow up, when you are become an adult, your parent will not be there around you to tell what is right, what is wrong. At that time, you will feel their loss. Array, if there is somebody, some well-wisher along with me to guide me, I would be having double the strength, you may feel. So keep this in mind. Childhood is a kind of blessing. You get the loving protection of elders, that is teachers, parents, relatives. I don't think there is any parent, any teacher who wants you to suffer, right? What all they tell is for your good. So accept it. Okay? Understood? Right.
Sir, I have a question which has been going through my mind since long back. So they say that being empathetic is a good thing, but every time it's not good. What's your opinion on it?
Empathy. What is empathy? Placing yourself in the shoes of other person and understanding the perspective of that person. You have seen a visually challenged child trying to cross the road. If you laugh at the first person, that is no empathy. In fact, that is an extreme form of negative behavior. You should try to understand the plight of that person. You can do that only when you think you are also in that position. Have you ever tried to pick up an object when there is power cut in your room? There is power cut, room is totally dark. You wanted to pick up, say, a candle or a match box or any such object. How difficult it was for you? When you don't have power, I mean, when you can't see for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, we all feel so much of discomfort. Now imagine the condition of those children who can't see forever. Same way, there are so many disadvantaged groups in the society. Orphans are there. People suffering from disease. Today, corona is spreading. People who get infected, already they have enough problem. Okay, now they are facing the discrimination of the neighbors, which is bad. You should imagine, suppose if it happens to me, to my family members, how would I react? What will be my feeling? Once you place yourself in the position of other person, you will understand their plight. Children, when you grow up tomorrow, you have to become leaders. Leader, who is a leader? Not necessarily a political leader. You may become a doctor, you will become head of the department or head of the hospital. You may run a TV channel, you are the head of the CEO or editor of the TV channel, whatever, the boss of TV channel. So everybody is a leader. I mean, all the people who have got certain number of people to manage, to lead, are called leaders. You can become a good leader only when you empathize with your team members. If you talk only from your angle, you are the boss, you have a car, you have a driver, and you have come to the office in spite of the rain. For example, now from my home, I came to this recording studio. In the car, driver was driving. So I didn't got wet in spite of the heavy rain outside. This may not be possible for everybody. The cameraman here, he might have come in a scooter. So when it is raining, it's not that easy to ride a two-wheeler on city roads. So if he has come a bit late, if I start blasting him, hey, why you came late? I don't care if there is rain or no rain. It is your duty to come on time. Then he may not answer anything in front of me, but he will start hating me. My team members will not support me wholeheartedly. When I understand you, for example, now, I have to empathize with you children. March 15th onwards, today is the program is being recorded. This program may be watched by others later, a few days later, but today is August 15th. The recording is going on. March 15th to August 15th. How many months? 5 months. You are at home. No school. You can't go out of your home. Okay, for this program, your parents have brought you. Okay, otherwise, normally you can't go out of your house. You can't play outside. Your regular life, your regular routine got seriously disturbed. You can't come to school, you can't see the teachers, you can't meet your classmates. So, there is some psychological pressure on you. If I start scolding you, hey, why are you not answering this? Why are you not telling this? I should understand you, isn't it? If you are committing a mistake, if you are not able to recollect something, I should understand you from your perspective, from your angle. So, empathy is required everywhere. Husband should empathize with wife. Wife should empathize with husband. Parents should empathize with children. Children should empathize with parents. Do you empathize your parents? Empathize with your parents? Hey, my parents keep finding faults with me all the time. They want only marks, Ray. They want me to study all the time, Ray. You feel bad at times. If you understand from their angle, they're working so hard. Now, these COVID times, many people have lost their jobs, but still they want your education to be continued. So they are paying the fee. Why they are doing all this? They could have removed you from slate. They could have admitted you into some school where the fee is less, or maybe government school. They want you to get the best, so that when you grow up, you will become a leader. You will meet with success in your life. So that is their intention. They are under pressure. They understand now my child is in 8th class, 9th class, whatever class the children who are watching the program are in. Now this is the time when my child should put in effort, so that after intermediate, my child gets a seat in a good college. It could be IIT, it could be other engineering colleges or medical colleges, whatever, depending on your interest and their aspirations. So they're feeling the pressure. So you should empathize with your parents. Every moment you should, in fact, I would say you should empathize with animals. Now, when I was on my way to the studio near Begumpet flyover, I saw a dog. It's raining heavily. it was close to the road divider under the flyover, so it was not raining that heavily. It was trying to cross the road. Lots of vehicles are running on the road. Now imagine the plight of the dog, how bad it must be feeling. It can't stay there because it is raining. Of course, not that heavily raining, but it wants to go to the other end, but it can't cross the road. I empathized with the dog, but unfortunately I couldn't do anything, because if I stop the vehicle there, it will cause traffic jam. So many vehicles were on their way. At times we may be helpless, but to the extent possible, help the person. And even if you want to bring change in the person, if you simply criticize the child, criticize the person, change will not come. Only when you understand from that person's point of view, then you can suggest, okay, see, I understand you, children, you are at home, you are feeling bored, you are feeling low, but we can't help children. Now this is pandemic situation. We hope that this situation will change quite soon. We hope that this pandemic will come to an end and the good old days will come back. Till that time, stay at home, study well, pay attention to head's program, note down the points, read books, sharpen your skills. That way, once I understand you, your plight, I can suggest you. Then you will accept it. Without doing that, you are sitting at home, no work, no job. What you are doing? If I tell this, will you take it positively? You will not, isn't it? So, empathy is required at all the times, with all the people. Okay?
Sir, I have a question for you. Assertiveness is always mistaken as rudeness, right, sir? How can we tell others that we are not being rude to them, and what are the advantages of assertiveness, sir?
Okay. There is a fine line dividing these two things, assertiveness and rudeness. You know that you are right. Somebody is finding fault with you. Suppose you are wearing, now you are wearing the mask. After coming here, if I asked you to remove the mask, you feel you don't want to remove the mask. Sorry, sir, I want to wear the mask for my protection. That is assertiveness. No, I will not remove the mask. Who are you to tell? That is rudeness. Assertiveness means you are respecting the other person. You are conveying your idea to the person, giving due respect to the status of the person, but you are not changing. Sorry, sir, I will not take the mask. No, you should take the mask out. Sorry, sir, I'm sorry, sir, I have to wear it. So you are not changing your stand. This is assertiveness. Behaving aggressively, undermining the authority of the other person, hurting the self-dignity of the other person is rudeness. You are studying well. In spite of your best efforts, you find mathematics subject somewhat tough. You are getting, in spite of trying to get 100%, you are getting only 85%. Your father is obviously upset. They come to you and say that, what is this? Can't you score 100 out of 100 in mathematics? I got lots of hopes on you. I want you to get into IIT. See, your neighbor, your friend, always she gets or he gets 100 out of 100. What happened to you? They're asking. No. Why should I get 100? I'll not get go. That is rudeness. Assertiveness, making the other person understand you. Mom, I am trying my best. But in spite of my best efforts, I am still getting 85. I'll try my best. I'll try to improve my score. And as such, mathematics is a subject which I don't like. My friend likes mathematics, but I like some other subject. So, I won't be interested to get into IIT as you are suggesting. I want to get into medical line, or I want to become a lawyer, I want to become a civil servant, or any such option. So, you are asserting yourself. So, understand the difference between these two. when you are right, when somebody forces you to accept something wrong, tell something wrong, hey, let's steal the money, let's tell a lie to the teacher, let's copy in the exam, or let's go to some outside place, acquire to do something bad. No, I am not interested. Sorry, I won't be doing this. You are asserting. You may not act rude. No, get out. I don't hear all this. You may not do that in the first count. Yeah, the person who is pestering you to come on a wrong path is repeatedly doing that. Then you may say, no, get out. I don't want to do this. But in the beginning, you will be polite, you will be firm, and you will be telling you will be conveying what you want to convey to the other person. Always be assertive, but generally elders know better than you. Don't you agree? With their knowledge, they have got more knowledge, more experience. So when they are suggesting something, look into that. Am I wrong? Am I right? Cross check that with other adult. Your mother has suggested something which you don't like. Cross check that with your father, with your grandfather, with a teacher. Teacher has suggested something to you which you feel is not correct. So cross check that with your parents, with elders, with other teachers. So nothing wrong in doubting a person, cross checking. But when you feel what they are told is correct, you accept it. When you feel what they are told is not correct, then you stick to your position. Okay, so that is the answer for you.
Sir, what can I do to motivate myself? Later I am not having motivation anything.
How to motivate myself? That is your question, right? Okay. See, there is something called neuro-linguistic programming, which we have actually taught you during the last academic year. Every human being, every student has got certain gray areas, certain drawbacks. You feel you are not feeling confident enough. You feel that mathematics is a tough subject or social studies is a tough subject. After you feel you get, emotional, easily get irritated, you lose your temper. So you identified your problem. Now, every day when you get up early in the morning, write down those 3 or 4 or 5 points where you want to see a change in yourself. You feel you are easily getting irritated these days. So what you should write on the paper? I am cool. You feel you are not able to concentrate. I will concentrate on my works. You feel you are not having good self-esteem, good self-confidence. I am very confident of myself. I can do wonders. That way, turn these negative points into positive suggestions. Write down on a paper. In fact, you don't require the paper after 4 or 5 days. Every day morning when you get up, these 4 or 5 points, you just tell yourself, I'm a confident person. I can do wonders. I can concentrate on all the works that I'm doing. I'll be successful. I'll be working hard. In this way, when you give yourself positive suggestions, these suggestions slowly get into the mind of your mind. They get registered there. It doesn't happen in one day. You don't like a particular subject. Okay. So you tell, I like this subject. I'm going to love this subject. I like this subject. Suddenly, you will not start loving the subject. But in course of time, it may take 2 to 6 months. There will be a slow and gradual change in yourself. So, this is the best way to motivate oneself. The second way, don't do something for the sake of others. Mother is asking you to read. Just to please your mother, just to satisfy your mother, don't open a book and don't act like reading. If you act, you are only cheating yourself. Why are you acting? Because you don't like reading. Why are you reading? Because of the force of parents. You feel you are duping them, you are smart enough to dupe your mother. Actually, you are duping yourself, you are cheating yourself. So don't do that. Start enjoying what you are doing. Whatever work. If you really don't like something, I mean, studies you have to study. All the subjects you have to study. But something your mother is forcing you to learn, say veena, some musical instrument, which you don't like. You can tell your mother, Mom, I don't like this. This is not of my liking. Then you should be liking something now. That you start doing. That you tell your parents. So, when you start doing something which is close to your heart, there will be no need for somebody to motivate you. You will start doing programming here. The recording of this online class starts at 11 o'clock. Every day I am coming 15 minutes early. Why? Because I love doing this. Nobody needs to wake me up. Nobody needs to remind me of my job. Early morning, 3 o'clock, I got up. I just took a look at the questions. And I thought I didn't prepare. I mean, I tell from my own experience, I don't read any book. I didn't read any book to answer your questions, because whatever I am telling is coming from my experience. But I have to think of the points, isn't it? So in that way, I pondered over these points. I love this, so I'm no need for any special motivation for me. In fact, no, children are taken to psychologists who try to motivate them. Every parent should become a psychologist. Every teacher should become a psychologist. In fact, every slater should become a psychologist. You should motivate your younger sister or brother. You should motivate yourself. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Tell yourself repeatedly, it will happen. Okay?
Sir, most of my friends interacted with me and they said their issues with their parents. So they are feeling very tensed and frightened to speak with their parents and speak honestly with them, as they think that they are scolding them. What you will suggest them to do, sir?
Okay. First, in this regard, I would like to suggest to the parents. Parents understand the plight of today's children. They want to communicate something to you. They want to be honest, but they are afraid of your reaction. Whatever the reason, for example, child scored secured lower, not the kind of marks that you expected, somewhat lower marks. So, I have seen children, not many but few, erasing the marks in the progress card and putting up some higher marks. Why? When questioned, sir, my father beats me, so I want to avoid this. When your reaction is this kind, extreme, that's what the children will do. Don't be too ideological. Don't expect children to be so ideal. Children are children, they are bound to commit mistakes. It is our duty to make them understand, to correct them. If children are open to you, you can do wonders. Children should feel free, especially parents of teenagers should act like friends to their children. Child, out of innocence or due to peer pressure, the society around us is too bad today. Children get influenced by so many negative elements. So they have committed a mistake. Now they feel like repenting, expressing the same to you. If you are not open enough, they'll go into their shell, they'll become secretive, and the gulf between you and their children will get widened, and it will only take them to more and more negative things, negative places. So be free, be friendly with your teenage children. Now for this latest. Chalo, what happens if your parent is reacting angrily? You have committed a mistake, you want to open up, you want to tell something. In a moment, fit of anger, your father is going to beat you. But tell sorry. Understand the reaction of your parent. Why the parent is doing that? Because you committed a mistake. Once you accept your mistake, I don't think any parent will be still finding fault with you. Arey, my daughter, my son has learnt, understood the mistake. Actually, I committed a mistake of scolding or beating the person. The parent will start feeling. Empathy, you should, as I told some time ago, you should empathize with parents. Parents should empathize with children. So be open. By chance, if your parent is not so open, not so receptive to your thoughts, then you have got parents at school. Who are they? Teachers, only teachers. I am not your parent. Okay, so be free, be open. We teachers at Slate are your second parents. Your parents will accept your mistakes. In extreme case, if your parents are not ready to accept that, if you need help, you call us, because I'm using the word call because now the school is not physically functioning. When school is functioning, you come to us, you tell your plight. If required, we'll call your parents and we'll tell them. Now, what am I doing? Is this class only meant for you or for parents also? Whatever question you have been asking, for every question I was answering it from Slater's point of view, also answering keeping parents in mind. This class of mine is a class for Slaters as well as their parents. In other words, I am trying to educate parents as well. Understood? Okay.
Sir, I have a question for you, which states the problem of many children of our age. So, I've been dealing with my less anger management. How could I deal with that? Can you
Okay.
give suggestions?
ఓకే, తన కోపమే తన శత్రువు. విన్నారు కదా, తన శాంతమే తనకు రక్ష. Let us imagine a simple thing. Morning, early in the morning, you are coming onto the road. You want an auto. You are calling the auto person. Hey, auto, come here. Re. You use some rude language. What will be the reaction of the auto person? Okay, right or wrong? You respect the person by or whatever way you call. The person will also respect you. In fact, you have committed a mistake. You are riding a bicycle. By mistake, you have hit somebody. The person, because it's a bicycle, the person is not seriously hurt, but some slight injury is there. You smile at the person apologetically, smiling not in a sarcastic way. Acha ho. No, not that way. Sorry, boss. You, through your body language, you express your feeling. The person will forget his injury. He'll immediately go into the forgive mode. Understood? Our anger damages our body first of all. You know, these are anger, frustration, lack of confidence, panic, fear. Now, the whole world is in this panic mode. Precaution is required to avoid the infection by corona, but panic is bad. Panic kills your immunity. So, panic, fear, anger, all these are negative, hatred, all these are negative emotions. If you are having these negative emotions, your body gets destroyed. Destroyed in the sense, it increases the heart rate, increases the blood flow, brings bad mood to yourself. Children may not get heart attack, BP, but it's damaging the body to some extent. If it keeps on, at some point of time, the body will get damaged. You feel happy, you smile at the person. These are all positive emotions. It brings positive vibes to your body. We elders, especially a person like me who knows psychology, when we look at the face of a person, when I look at the face of the person, I can estimate the personality of the person to the extent of 40 to 50%. The very face is called face reading. It's not astrology, it is science. Somebody who is leading a happy life, that contentment will be seen on the face. Somebody who is always frustrated, who always got this negative emotions all the time, it shows on their face, it shows on the body language. So, first of all, you should understand that anger is bad. It doesn't bring any positive results. First, it damages your body. This negative is spread around. When you are angry with somebody, with your elder sister or younger sister, with your parent, with your teacher, they also react. If they also react in the same way, then there is clash. You got a friend. Your friend did something which you don't like. What you should do? You should tell your friend, please look at this, kindly understand me. This action of yours is not good. You should reason out the person. Then the person, if there is something good in what you are telling, the person will accept. There will be a change in the person. Otherwise, if the person feels that he or she is right, then that person will tell you. There ends the problem. Instead, if you are reacting angrily, if you are trying to beat the other person beats you, then the rupture. Okay, anger management is very simple. Tell yourself every day, if you feel you are prone to anger quite easily, then tell yourself, as I told you in the neuro-linguistic program early in the morning, I am a cool-headed person. I like everybody. I am not given to this kind of. This way, you turn the negative into positive and tell yourself, very soon there will be change in you. Okay, right.
Sir, I'm always having this doubt, sir. I even go through it. Sir, which one is important, sir? What others think of us or what we think of ourselves? Can you please explain, sir?
There is a famous story. A person was having his morning walk with a walking stick in his hand. He was moving the walking stick this way, that way, this way. It struck the other person who was coming in opposite direction. Hey, stop what you are doing. Why are you doing that? No, I am a free citizen. I can do whatever I like. This person replied. That person said, this is the quote. That person said, your freedom comes to an end where my nose begins. Have you understood it? Your freedom, you got a freedom. You can use your walking stick. You can do this kind of jugglery with your walking stick, no problem. But if it is hurting me, if it is hitting me, do you think you got that much of freedom? No, isn't it? When there is nobody around, you can do that. When there is some person close to you, you should mind yourself, your action, and you should ensure that you are not hurting other person. What I am trying to tell is, we are all social creatures. We are members of society. Without society, we cannot survive. Imagine a mother leaving her infant baby, just now born baby, in a forest. Do you think the baby has got any chance for survival? Can the baby survive on his or her own without the support from mother and other people? No. Today morning when you got up, you brushed your teeth. From where the toothpaste has come? Have you produced the toothpaste? Toothbrush? Water? Did you dug a well and took the water out of the ground? No, isn't it? How many people might have worked to produce the toothpaste? Toothpaste was produced, it was transported, it was sold, your parents have purchased. Behind every object that you use, every goods, every services that we are utilizing, there are umpteen number of people contributing, working. So we are in a network of social relations. So if you feel I am in a free society, I can do whatever I like, unmindful of what others think of me, then that is not socially acceptable behavior. Understood? You will be thrown out of the society. I mean, people will start ridiculing you, and if your actions exceed the tolerable limits, you could be in trouble. People will punish you, the law will punish you. So you should always mind what others think of you, especially being a child. You are expected to behave in a particular way. If you are not doing that, obviously elders will find fault with you, will criticize you. Whatever you think, why should I care? My life, my wish. No, you should not do that. This is one aspect. Second aspect, that doesn't mean you should always be bothered about, what are others doing, what are others thinking. Should not be over obsessed with that. Especially children of your age, they are more keen to find fault with their friends. Whatever you do, you have got a friend who is trying to find fault with you. You do this way, it becomes a wrong. You do that way, it becomes a wrong. Their intention is to find fault with you. Now, such like criticism, should you mind? Should you should you bother about such like criticism? No. There is a jealous relative of you who is jealousy of your this thing. That person passes some comment. Should you mind that? No. So, when somebody is speaking something, try to understand their intentions. The person is telling with good intention, trying to find a fault with you, trying to correct your behavior, accept that. But if their intention is bad, if they are trying to put you down, then don't care for that. You should get that social maturity to understand what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, what is genuine, what is fake. Good suggestions, constructive criticism is always welcome. Bad, comments passed out of jealousy, you should not care. Understood? In fact, the children, primary children, even middle school children, they keep on complaining on others. Sir, this boy is doing that, sir, that boy is doing that, sir. We miss all that now, school is not there. So, we are used to that. It is a part of growing up, we take it. That's why we keep telling children, you first of all mind yourself and mind your behavior. Why are you more obsessed with the other person? You are writing the notes, you are committing mistake. More than your mistakes, you are bothered about the mistake. Sir, this person is committing that mistake, sir. Sir, the person is disturbing me, sir. The person is doing that, sir. That person is doing that, sir. My God, when those good old days are going to come? Looking at all of you complaining on each other. It's good. Good in the sense now we teachers accept that. But you people should understand that, first of all, focus your attention on yourself. Trying to help others is good, but always complaining on others is not good. Why are you so much obsessed, over obsessed with others? This is bad. Okay? So, this is the fine line dividing this and that. Okay?
Sir, I have a doubt, sir. Sir, sometimes before doing an action, we think that the other person will think something wrong about us, and we feel scared to ask whatever we want to tell to them. What will you suggest us, sir, to stop getting scared of asking a question?
Don't be, what I would say is, don't be so apprehensive. First of all, think. You analyze, you decide whether what you are going to do is right or wrong. If you feel what you are doing is right, then be brave. Nothing wrong in doing that. Assess whenever we are going to speak something, do something, we should plan for it, we should think about it. We should not do anything without any planning, without unmindful of ourselves. We should not do anything. We should be always mindful of our actions, our words. Okay, so don't be too apprehensive, what this person will think, what that person will think. Let them think. When you are right, chalo, what you have done is a mistake. In spite of thinking and acting, you have committed a mistake. The person is finding fault with you. So what now? You will accept that, right or wrong? As simple as that. If you accept your auto correction, when you correct yourself, you will progress. You are the beneficiary. Right? Okay.